straight down the ground. It is. Welcome. Good morning, everybody. I am your host, Rizwan, bringing to you the Sports Spotlight on the airwaves of Radio Azad every Sunday morning between 10 and noon. And it is time. Not going to have too many guests joining today, but hey, that's cool. We've got plenty of conversation to have across the sports world. And of course, 972-501-9390 is the studio number if you want to give me a call and discuss what's on your mind, what might be on the minds of our listeners right now. Is a match going on? Yes. As you know, we always get things going by shining the sports spotlight directly onto the cricket oval every Sunday. I think we've done that once or twice when we did not start things off with cricket, but by and large, we start things off with cricket and then we swivel the spotlight across the sports landscape onto basketball, baseball, football, college and pros, tennis, golf. I think we've even talked about golf once in a while. But hey, whatever is happening in the sports world, sometimes we discuss local sports, high school sports, youth sports. Yeah, anything and everything having to do with sport right here on the Sports Spotlight every Sunday on Radio Azad, as well as our YouTube channel. So do check us out. Like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And let's get going as we shine the spotlight onto the cricket oval. Yeah, there's something going on. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026 is going on right now, and there's a big match going on right now. India and South Africa are entangled in it's in the Super 8's Group 1 on the Group 1 side, and we're going to work backwards because what's happening right now, and then we're going to get back to how we got here. So in Group 1, it's India, South Africa, West Indies, and Zimbabwe. Yeah, Zimbabwe in the Super 8. They've had a great showing. They went 3-1 in group play. So we'll get to that. Those are the four teams, and India and South Africa are playing a match right now. On the other side, it's England, New Zealand, Pakistan, and Sri Lanka. And the Pakistan-Sri Lanka match happened yesterday, and we'll get to that because it's my old pet peeve, the weather that played a role there. But we'll get to that. Let's talk about Group 1 and the match taking place right now between South Africa and India. All right. If you're watching the match, you're not listening to us. If you're listening to us, you're not watching the match. So I'm going to, instead of spoiling where we are right now, I'm going to have you guys follow along and get you to where we are right now from the beginning. So the match started up, I want to say about a couple of hours ago. And it's probably, I would say, about 40 minutes away from finishing. Whichever way it finishes, we'll get to that in a minute. But starting off, South Africa batted first, and things looked bleak for South Africa. Things looked great for Team India. Let me see who chose. That's something right there. Okay. All right. So, and South Africa actually won the toss and decided to bat first. That's the part I didn't know. But they chose to bat first, and it looked like it was a bad decision starting off because Abe Markram and Quentin de Kock opened up. Markram gets off the schneid right off the bat. On the first bowl, gets a single and gives the strike to Quentin de Kock. Quentin de Kock, after a couple of dot balls, gets a single. All in all, a few singles, a leg by to finish out. There was a shout for LBW, but it was not given. I don't believe it was going to be an out. India did not review. So 4 runs in the first over, looking a little dicey. Arshdeep looking pretty strong. And then in the second over, in comes Jasprit Bumrah. And Bumrah, after giving up a 4 to Quentin de Kock on the 4th delivery of the second over, on the 5th one, gets him, bowled him out. I mean, just absolutely gave up that boundary and then came right back and like instant redemption, right? Just came right back and just destroyed his. I think it was the off stump, but gets him, and that was that. Quentin de Kock, 7 deliveries faced, 6 runs, and gone. And he followed that up with the last delivery, a really, really good ball, and for the new batter coming in, Rickleton, and almost got him, but didn't. So 6 runs, 1 wicket. South Africa at 10 with a loss of 1 after 2. Arshdeep comes back, and you think that Markram and Rickleton will settle things down a little bit. Will try to settle things down. But after a couple of singles, Aiden Markram, off of a delivery from Arshdeep Singh, gets caught and done out of here, scoring only 4 off of 7. Strike rate of 57 in a T20 Super 8 match. And he's done. And things are looking really bad. Brevis comes in, and Brevis, right off the bat, takes a single, gives a strike back to Rickleton, who was kind of set. I wouldn't say he was set. He's only been in there after Quentin de Kock went out, but he greets Arshdeep with a big 6, and that kind of set things up for what was to come. They scored 9, did lose a wicket, and still India fully in control. South Africa 19 at a loss of 2 after 3 overs. Right? Only averaging 6 an over, and have already lost 2 wickets, both of their openers. And India in full control. Bumrah comes back in, and after a stingy first 5 deliveries, gave up only a single. Only a single with 4 dot balls on the last delivery to Rickleton. He gets him. Yeah. Slowed it down a little bit, and Rickleton looked like he was completely fooled, completely lost. And I think it was Dubé who caught that one. And after 4, South Africa was sitting at 20 at a loss of 3, averaging 5 and over, and gone with the top 3 wickets. Both the openers and the one down are gone. And it looked like, and it's funny, right? The analysts, the sportscasters, they so live in the moment. Because I remember when that was happening this morning, after 4 overs, having lost 3, folks were like, oh my goodness, this decision by Aiden Markram to bat first was a terrible decision. It's looking like it did not work out. It was they should not have gone this way, blah blah blah, right? Varun Chakravarti comes in, and then in comes Miller in Rickleton's place, right? So you've got Brevis and Miller on strike. And after a couple of tentative, a single and then a dot ball to Miller, Miller gets a double. Then he hits Varun Chakravarti for a 4, and then another 4. And all of a sudden, They've got 11 runs in the fifth over. Still, India fully in control. After five, South Africa sitting at 31 at a loss of three. And you would have thought, at that point, folks started to the fans, South African fans, started to say, well, if South Africa can get to about 140, we think our bowlers can defend this. You're not going to defend 140 against a murderer's row of a lineup like Team India's. But anyway, that's why they're called fanatics, right? Hope springs eternal for the fanatics, always, always. So that's what they were talking about. But hey, Brevis and Miller were on strike, and they had other plans. Arshdeep comes back in for the sixth over, and with a couple of boundaries, they end up getting 10 more runs. So now they're at 41 off of three. That run rate is creeping up, 6.83 after six. Still not great. Still not great. But again, as I said, Brevis and Miller weren't giving in. That's the strength of a middle order, right? If the top collapses, you gotta pick them up. You've got to cover for them. And boy, did Brevis and Miller cover for them. In the seventh over, Brevis greets Sundar with a boundary, a couple of singles, and then Miller finishes off on the last delivery with a boundary. 11 more runs after seven. South Africa sitting at 52 at a loss of three. Still not great, still firmly in control for India, but South Africa is starting to creep back in. Sky brings in Hardik Pandya to see if he could do something. Gives up a couple of singles, 3-4 singles, only 4 runs, giving up 4 singles. And after 8, again, the run rate has dropped from 7.4 down to 7. South Africa 56 at a loss of 3. And, India in control. Boy, I got to tell you, Varun Chakravarti really, really let the team down today. I'll give you the final stats in a second. But in he comes for that ninth over. And Miller, after a dot ball, just absolutely demolishes the second delivery from Varun Chakravarti. I mean, it was like I think 94, 95 meters is what that maximum went. Just absolutely destroyed it. And then gets a single, gives a strike to Brevis. Brevis decides he wants in on the action. He gets himself a boundary of 4 off of Varun Chakravarti, and then destroys him. Absolutely destroys him for a no-look 6. His head was down, pumped it over the bowler's head, and just absolutely massive 6. Destroys him in the end, even though the last ball was a dot ball. They score 17 off of Varun Chakravarti. At this point, Varun, 2 overs, 28 runs. Not great. South Africa, 73 for 3. Still, India's kind of in control. They picked up some momentum there. Hardik Pandya comes back in and has a pretty good over. I mean, literally gave up 3 runs on the first 5 deliveries, 3 singles. And then, on the last delivery of his over, he oversteps. No balls are a no-no, especially in this short format. Man, in T20, you absolutely cannot give up those extra runs. But he did. Oversteps, and Brevis ends up getting a single off of it. And that proves proves to be pivotal. So he gets a single, so it's 2 runs, one for the no, one single scored off of it. Strike goes back to Miller, and Miller absolutely destroyed the next pitch for a big six, and all of a sudden a really good over turns into a bad over. And that's what happens, man. The game of cricket, every delivery matters, every swing matters. And all of a sudden, after 10, South Africa, scoring 11 runs in this over, are sitting at 84 for 3. The run rate has jumped all the way up to 8.4. 17 in the ninth, 11 in the 10th. Run rate at 8.4. And South Africa are starting to. I still would have said, 3 wickets in the first 10. Supposedly, some of your best batsmen are gone. But boy, between Brevis and Miller. So at this point, Miller is 40 off of 22, Brevis 24 off of 18. Set batsmen, 7 wickets in hand, half the game in front of you. At this point, I would say it was no longer advantage India. South Africa had really, really dug themselves out of that hole. Shivam Dube comes in, couple of dot balls, a wide, but then starts to, those extras really, really hurt Team India here between Varun and Dube. He hits one or throws one wide, gives up a double on the next delivery. On the fourth delivery, gives up a boundary, a 4 to Brevis. And now he's really rattled. He's really, really rattled. And throws another wide. So now he's given up 2 extras. He tries to overcorrect, ends up throwing a full toss on the 5th delivery to Brevis, and Brevis is not going to let that go. Absolutely smashes it for a 6. Way over long gone. Gets another 6. Brevis gets a single on the last delivery. And now India's in trouble. South Africa, 15 runs in the 11th over, sitting at 99 at a loss of 3, with 9 overs to go. And now Brevis is at 37 off of 24. Brevis had himself a really, really good 11th over. He's sitting at 37 off of 24. Miller, 40 off of 22. Varun Chakravarti comes back in. If Sky thought he was going to do anything different than what he did earlier, he didn't. Single, throws a wide, corrects, gives up a 4. And then he just, Varun really kind of fell apart. Gives up a couple more singles, a bye and a single, and then it's the last delivery of the over. He just needs to get out, right? Just needs to get out. He's already given up 9. Throws a wide, well down leg side. Tries it again. On the other side, another wide on the offside. Back-to-back wides. And he's lucky the next delivery did not get put away. It wasn't a great delivery, but Brevis kind of just eases it out to a deep mid-wicket and gets a single, probably because he didn't want to do something. They'd already gotten 11 runs off of that over. Didn't want to do something silly. Gets 12. The run rate climbs up to 9.25. South Africa at 111 at a loss of 3. 8 overs left, 7 wickets in hand, and now South Africa is in control. Right? They got those 3 wickets in the power play and then kind of fell apart. South Africa, at this point, if I'm sitting at 111 with 7 wickets in hand in the 12th over, I'm eyeing 200, right? Set batsman. Brevis at 39 off of 27. Miller at 46, looking for that half century. Brevis is on strike and hits a big six off of the first delivery from Dubé of the 13th over. Big six. It's pretty massive. Gets to 45, but Dubé gets the last laugh. Maybe not in the match, but at least when it comes to Brevis. On the very next delivery, second delivery of the 13th over, he's done. Dubé finally answers, takes that huge wicket, and breaks up this partnership before letting Dubé get to his half century. And I mean, Dubé was really, really pumped. The crowd gets excited. And I think South Africa is still in control, but they've nicked that armor. Maybe not opened it up yet, but they've nicked it, right? Unfortunately, Dubé comes right back with a no ball on the next delivery, off of which they score a single. And then, of course, gives up a big six on the next delivery. All in all, 17 runs with that wicket, and South Africa 128 at a loss of 4 after 13, fully in control. The run rate climbing just a smidge shy of 10 and over. All right. The match, of course, continued. We will get to that after this break. You're listening to the Sports Spotlight right here on Radio Azad. Radio Azad.